We're not hunting for anything particularly ourselves, but we are hunting for good food. And I'm going to show you today how I make my chicken cacciatore, which just stands for chicken hunter style in Italian. It is delicious. It's also a very versatile dish, one that I grew up eating. This is Papa Sal's tried and true version. I have not shared this recipe with you in probably over a decade, and it was definitely time to revisit. It's pretty much the same as it was, because to be honest with you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this is one of our family favorites, especially in the winter with a side of polenta. It is sensational. I'm going to walk you through it, and I'll tell you a few things you can change, you can add, you can do whatever your heart desires. I like to do this just as my dad does, with bone-in, skin off dark meat. So I've got a combination of drumsticks and chicken thighs. You can tell I've taken the skin off, but they're still bone in. And the reason we're doing that is because the bone is going to provide a lovely amount of flavor and richness. But the skin, if we left it on, it would just get soggy, because this is going to braise for a couple of hours. And I don't need it to get all soggy. I like crispy chicken skin. I don't like a soggy, floppy chicken skin. So let's roll with this. Now, my nonna has been making cacciatore for literally a lifetime and a half. However, she only uses rabbit and rabbit only. Chicken cacciatore just means hunter style, and what that stands for is, back in the day, you were a hunter and you hunted for your, protein, and you hunted for whatever vegetables were around. It could be mushrooms, it could be peppers, it could be potatoes, it could be a variety of different things that you would make to basically make a hunter stew with whatever meat and whatever veg you foraged and hunted. So this is a little bit more, I would say, easier to digest of a recipe, just because I think it's accessible, it's easy, it's affordable, and it's using things that are easily available. And the combination of these things is really what makes it so special. Salt and pepper both sides. I'm going to do one side first. I'm doing it in my shallow Dutch oven with plenty of extra virgin olive oil, so I get flavor from the off. And then once they're in there, I'm going to season the other side. Look how gorgeous. Just gonna flip it, let it sear on the opposite side. Don't rush it. I'm taking whole plum tomatoes, canned whole plum tomatoes, and I'm crushing them by hand. In this recipe, you absolutely could use just regular crushed tomatoes. I'm actually really not a fan of pre-crushed tomatoes. I like to do it myself. But you can see I'm just going in here, and if there's any hard spots, I just get rid of them. But I go in here and I just crush by hand. Chicken is seared. It's obviously not cooked through, which I assumed it wouldn't be, but look at that gorgeous base. You see that? That's all those chickeny juices that are gonna make this so delicious and so luscious. I cannot wait for you to have this. I cannot wait for you to make this winter. Your mushrooms, not the garlic yet, but these are good. I don't have to add any additional fat because we started off with really good extra virgin olive oil. The chicken rendered some fat, so we're in good shape. There was a lot of salt crusted on the bottom of my pan, but I'm still gonna hit my veggies with a touch of salt. It helps draw out the moisture. It also helps keep things really well seasoned and balanced, and look what's happening. All those brown bits are starting to release from the bottom of the pan, which is just so important. Love it. I'm gonna let these go for 5 to 7 minutes. Looking great. Look at the bottom of that pan. Everything has lifted, which is so important. I'm gonna add my garlic. Now, because again, we're braising, things are gonna get tender, things are gonna get a bit mushy. That's the whole point of a stew. Taking these to the point of crisp and super deeply crisp and brown isn't gonna do much, because once it simmers, that's gonna wash away anyway, but you do want them to cook down, concentrate, begin to wilt, begin to develop some color. Most importantly, really lift all that delicious browning from the bottom of the pan. It's all gonna add lovely richness to your stew. I added my garlic. I want this to cook for a minute to get rid of that raw garlic taste. Little merlot action. Let that just cook away for a minute or so. Add your tomato. Might not use all of it. Just, I may not. Let's see how it's looking. It's looking great, and it's just smelling sensational, really. Probably will use about all of it. Again, with a pinch of salt, because we didn't season the tomato yet, you know. Pepper. And now I'm gonna go ahead and take my chicken that we seared. First of all, I'm gonna add a sprig of rosemary. You don't have to, but I think it adds to that lovely, sort of deep, woodsy, delicious flavor. I'll do 1.5. They're pretty big sprigs. Too much and it can be perfumey. Too little, it might not be enough. Take your chicken, get that all back into that flavorful pool of goodness. Don't forget all of the drippings and all of the juices that came out of your chicken as it rested. That's all gotta go in too, because you know, that's beautiful flavor. Don't forget that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to partially cover it. And guys, I'm gonna forget about it for a while, an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you wanted to, if you don't even want to see it on your stovetop, you could pop this in a 325 oven covered for a few hours and it would just do the same thing. So I'm gonna partially cover it, out of my way, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. Look at how gorgeous. This has been simmering for a couple of hours. It's perfection. The sauce is gorgeous. You can just see the spoon over top of some polenta, mashed potatoes, some kind of noodle, you name it. All it needs is a nice blanket of fresh parsley and then a hearty appetite. I'm just gonna go in here and give this a taste because I can't wait. Look at that. It just like literally, look at this. It falls apart so tender and gorgeous. It is everything you need to make it. LauraInTheKitchen.com has a recipe for you. Keep yourself warm and cozy. Make this with a nice green salad, some polenta, fresh bread, maybe a glass of wine. You're in business. Hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.